If you are an Nvidia shareholder, this video is for you. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Stockertim. Welcome to Stockertim, the investors channel. For Nvidia's shareholders, there is a major breaking news that actually entered the market yesterday towards the closing hours of trading on Wall Street. Nvidia is majorly announcing this news itself because it's a major hit to the business. There are some silver lining here and there. There are some not too good news, and there is also the positive side for Nvidia as well, because as a company that is quoted on Wall Street, Nvidia is likely to be one of the most surprising stock to own this year. But in the short and medium term, this stock is going to actually see some volatility, some ups and downs. But as a matter of fact, tomorrow, majorly this morning when trading actually starts, Nvidia is expected to actually start on the downside because of this news. So I'm going to break everything down, and I'm also going to explain what exactly you should be doing, from my opinion, of course, as an investor in Nvidia, what you should be doing. If you haven't bought Nvidia, is this an opportunity to buy this stock, or is this an opportunity to stay away because there's so much uncertainty here and there? So I'm going to be getting into it. Before I do that, if you haven't subscribed to our channel, subscribe, put on the notification bell so that you don't miss any updates. Also, please give this video a like, because as more people actually like this video, we are able to reach more people, because a whole lot of content that we do is actually beneficial. Join us on Stockertim Live on X, and Stockertim on TikTok, and Stockertim Live on Instagram. So let's get right into it. So basically, Nvidia released a press release. I actually shared a press release yesterday that they have been restricted from actually exporting one of its major chips to China. So this is a further escalation in the trade war between the US and China. And Nvidia said in the press release that the US didn't actually grant its export license to send that H20 AI chip to China. This was a major shock to investors, because Nvidia had actually announced that it will be spending over 300 to 500 billion in manufacturing facility for AI chips, cutting edge AI chips in the US, which alongside alongside Nvidia's partners, the likes of Foxconn, the likes of Taiwan Semiconductors, which they've been partnering with Nvidia, and Nvidia has been making these chips outside of the US. But because of the fact that President Trump, escalated the tariff war, and a whole lot of American technology companies are now under the crosshairs, or in the middle of the crosshairs of this major battle between the US and, most importantly, China. Companies like Nvidia have been making pledges of the manufacturing facilities that they will be taking to America, to actually make sure that America has a fair share of manufacturing of major technology products like AI chips. So it seems President Trump is not backing down to actually bring China to the table, and this is why this is happening to Nvidia. So as an Nvidia shareholder, as someone who has stake in Nvidia, what does this all mean to you? We need to actually see the significance to Nvidia. Yes, it's going to affect the stock in the short to medium term negatively, but how will this actually play out in the next 6 months, in the next 1 year or 2 years down the line, if all of this trade war continues to escalate? So this H12 chips has been one of the most popular chips that Nvidia. Of course, it's not the it's not the most high-end chip that Nvidia actually makes, but in the AI ecosystem, this is a major chip that countries, companies domiciled in China and some other part of the world have actually been relying on to build AI data centers, AI workloads, and compute. So it's a major one for Nvidia not to be able to sell this chip to China. So now coming to significance of this challenge of this restriction for Nvidia, Nvidia actually was very clear in that press release that it's going to affect their business to the tune of $5.5 billion in its Q1 earnings. So Nvidia is saying they wouldn't be the sales that they will have made if they've been allowed to actually go further with this export. It will be about $5.5 billion. So $5.5 billion is now off the table for Nvidia, and that's not too good for a company that wants to actually show that it's growing, and AI business, AI hardware is still major part of revenue stream for the business. So now another aspect of why I see this playing out is that this is a major turbulence for the company. Remember when the DeepSeek AI breakthrough, quote and unquote, was actually was exposed to the world. Nvidia stock took a major hit, and this is expected to be another hit. Is it going to be as significant as what happened to Nvidia during the DeepSeek AI news? We don't know yet, but as at yesterday, Nvidia stock gapped down heavily in the after hours of trading. So I'm going to show you what happened during the DeepSeek news, what happened yesterday in the after hours. Although after hours trading sometimes very deceptive, because the volume is quite very small, very tiny. A whole lot of major investors actually trade during the trading hours itself and not the after hours. Well, the after hours actually gives an indication of what is likely to happen this morning. And if you actually look at in the after hours of trading for other stocks on Wall Street, especially in the tech ecosystem, many of them actually dipped by 1%, 2%, 3%, 3% or 4%. So I'm going to show you the chart for Nvidia. We are going to compare what happened during the DeepSeek news, what happened in the after hours yesterday, and towards the trading hours this morning. How is this going to play out? And more importantly, what is the long-term effect for Nvidia? Because this suspension is an indefinite suspension. It means perhaps this could be lifted temporarily, because yesterday China also restricted Chinese airlines from further buying some of the major Boeing airplanes. So this could be actually a tit for tat from the US, replying the Chinese counterpart that if you hit us here, we are going to hit you in the tech sector, where you actually need those chips to develop your AI workloads, your AI industry. So let's go to the chart so that we can actually see how this will play out and what you should be doing as an Nvidia investor or shareholder. Come with me. So looking at the chart for Nvidia stock, you can actually see that Nvidia stock actually gapped down heavily on the 27th of January. The stock crashed from the highs of $147. $147. It crashed to. So the stock crashed to the lows. You can see it here. It crashed to about $117 per share, and that was a major hit for Nvidia. And you could see that because of that news was very significant, and the news actually was that DeepSeek AI was able to actually build a more faster and more efficient large language model to compete with the likes of ChatGPT with less AI chips. As a matter of fact, the cost of the entire project was put to the tune of about $6 million. Whether that was not appropriate, whether that was actually a lie, quote and unquote, because there was another discovery that DeepSeek AI was using the inferencing model on the data of OpenAI's ChatGPT. So, in the real sense, they are more or less using a data that was already worked on, that was already refined, that has a whole lot of intelligence behind it, and they were using it to actually build on top of their own LLM. So that was the news. But what happened then? The stock actually cratered heavily, and after a few days, it picked up. But since then, and since we started having the uncertainty with the trade war, tariff war, and all that, everything was a bit manageable. Nvidia went back to over $140, but as soon as we started having that aura climate of uncertainty, Nvidia stock, went down below where it was during the DeepSeek AI, which means DeepSeek AI was a milder kind of shock or negative news for Nvidia stock. This tariff war is more fundamental because it's actually now very clear that DeepSeek cannot actually prevent more AI chips from being bought, because the more efficiency you get in AI, the more chips will actually be needed, because AI will become cheaper for everyone, and more chips will be needed in the short and the long, in the short, medium to the long term. But the tariff war is a bit more sticky. So if this is not resolved, it could actually dampen growth outlook for Nvidia as a company, and Nvidia as a stock is likely to actually suffer in the short to the medium term. We don't actually believe that the US and China are going to drag this further, because if you look at the after hours yesterday, so if you go back to the 1 day chart, you could actually see what happened immediately Nvidia actually announced. You could see it gap down. This is after hours, of course, but it shows you an indication of what is likely to happen today. We expect Nvidia to more or less trade almost around $100 or almost $99, because the market works with sentiment, works with a lot of panicking. But if we get more clarity from the White House, if this is just if Nvidia is just a pawn in the chess game between China and the US, and that perhaps if China and the US comes to a table to discuss, these kind of restrictions can be looked at and be negotiated, the stock might actually gain some ground. But tomorrow is actually a very, very important trading tomorrow, wherever you are at. But this morning, for people in Europe, it's actually very, very important for Nvidia, because now there is now company specific tariff or sanctions that has now been brought to the escalation on this tariff war. So as an Nvidia investor, what should you be doing? Perhaps for me, don't do anything this morning when the trading starts. Perhaps if you have some cash, you can actually average down. If you have bought the stock when it was in its all-time high and Nvidia was the most valuable company, overtaking Apple. So if you have bought around that price, this is actually a very good opportunity for you to buy Nvidia stock. If you haven't bought Nvidia stock, this is also a very good opportunity. However, I would suggest that you buy in phases, because even apart from that, the stock has really more or less lost a lot this year, about 17%. Of course, 17% from its all-time high. So perhaps this might not actually be the bottom for Nvidia stock. This might actually be a phase in the drawdown on this stock. So you actually have to buy in phases. So, but for anyone who still wants to buy Nvidia, Nvidia is still a company to buy. Nvidia is the ecosystem leader when it comes to data center chips, AI chips, that is actually going to power the next generation technology that is going to actually determine how we live, how we work, how we play, how we do everything in the real world. So this tariff war for now is what everyone is focusing on, but as an investor you don't actually want to lose focus from the bigger picture. The bigger picture is that Nvidia itself is ready to sell. So in the meantime, Nvidia could have actually sold those $5.5 billion worth of chips to Chinese companies, but it wasn't a demand problem. It's a geopolitical problem, which oftentimes ends up on the negotiation table. So don't lose focus as an investor. Focus on what you're doing and do it very, very well. And those are the strategies I've actually explained. So I'm going to catch you guys in the next one. If we get any update on Nvidia, I'll be bringing it to your domain. And please subscribe to our channel, put on your notification bell so that you don't miss any update. I will see you if we get more updates, or if there is a positive news as regards this headline, as regards Nvidia stock. Thank you. Take care and bye-bye.